Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the final presentation of the Travel University, the diagnostic summary of all the final results that we have achieved during this week. Today, my dear colleague Sami from the Al-Hawaii University in France, and I myself, Juliana, we are here, we are honored and happy to guide you through this 3-hour event. Exactly 1 week ago, I, as well as a couple of other students, came here from Ivory Coast, Mexico, and Germany. And the first thing that we experienced was the warmth and the hospitality of the Moroccan people. So thank you very much, a heartfelt thank you to all of you who made us feel at home. It was It was a tough week. We came here with an objective to develop resilient concepts for the Al-Hawaii University in France and for the city of Azrou. But we ended up doing more than that. We built our own resilience. We learned how to get up after we fall. We learned how to proceed in tears with a smile on our faces. We learned how to deliver and how to be focused regardless of how tired we are, and no matter what the degree of pressure we face. We learned the true value of friendship, companionship, and support. We came here as individuals from 2 teams, from the visiting team and the host team. And in the end, we ended up being one family of the Travel University here at Al-Hawaii. We ended up being a family where we have a safe space for making mistakes. We are encouraged to make mistakes, where we see that the mistakes are the stepping stones on the staircase to growth. We were accepted as we are, and we were always encouraged to go beyond our limits. We could see that we can do more than we previously thought, and that all our limitations are only in our minds. And so today, we are happy and proud to share with you the brave and ambitious vision for the Al-Hawaii University in France, which is also lovingly known as AUI, and for the city of Azrou. First, we will be welcomed by Professor Dr. Abdelghani, who will take us through the Sikura project and explain to us what this is. After that, Dr. Anahansa Dasanayake will share with us the concept of the traveling university. And then we will arrive at the very moment why we are here, where we will listen to our dear students. Then we are welcome for your comments and remarks. After that, we finish the presentation with the vote of thanks and delivery of certificates. And right now, without any further delay, I'm happy to invite Professor Dr. Abdelghani on the stage.
Thank you, Lubiana. Good morning, everyone. Mr. President Samir bin Said, the Dean Karim Marzouk, President of the Ifrane County, esteemed visiting team, local team, dear students and faculty. It's an honor for me to welcome you to this grand finale to unveil the result of its 7 hard work days. And before I start giving you some details about our Zekura project, let me thank the participants. Let me thank the visiting team, and I'm going to ask you to stand up. The visiting team, could you please stand up? Thank you so much. The visiting team is very international, even though they are coming from Germany. We have people from Peru, Mexico, India, and of course, German students. Thank you very much. They are led by my colleague, the General Manager of Zekura, Dr. Rana Hansa, technical leader, Navoda, and Juliana, the head of the organizational. And of course, my local team that consists of students from the 3 different schools. Can I ask you to stand up, please? So we have students from the business school, humanities, and engineering schools. So thank you so much for your hard work. The week that we spent together was engraved in our brain. It was full of hard work, sharing knowledge, respect, friendship. Thanks to you, we were able to strengthen what we call the experiential learning. You were the one who developed what we will be presented in few minutes by our students, what we call concept of zero emission, to be scaled up for the city of Azro and Ifran. But before I'll start talking about the Zikura project, let me tell you that this Zikura project, along with other projects, dual degree, the Competence Center for Sustainable Energy Management, are the fruit of a 13 years experience with Tkhayr University, with IFAS Institute at Tkhayr University. So thank you for your hard work. Now I'm gonna be quick as possible to talk about the Zikura emission concept for urban resilience in selected African cities. So if I can make it short, this is about developing the concept of zero emission, low emission carbon in 5 universities in Africa, and then scale it up to mega cities in the same African country that I'm going to introduce to you soon. Of course, the city in our region is the city of Azul. So what's again Zikura? This is an international project led by Tkhayr University in collaboration for implementation with 5 universities in Uganda, as you can see, Uganda, Tanzania, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ghana. And of course, the Moroccan university is Al Akhawain University. It aims at developing, I would say, innovative resilience strategies to tackle, climate change, to tackle environmental challenges that we've been facing for the last few decades. How are we gonna do it? We're gonna do it through a focus on water management, energy management, and waste management. Yes, the head of the project is in Germany is Professor Hakadam, the coordinator of the Moroccan Zikura projects. What's the rationale behind it? Why we are doing this? Let me tell you that the African African cities has the highest rate of urbanization. They have highest rate of urbanization than any city in India or in China. And based on solid studies, we may have like at least 14 mega cities by 2030. So when we say high urbanization, those cities will be faced with a shortage of access to resources, low infrastructure, a low well-being. And that's why we are supposed to develop strategies to help African cities. And I like what you can see there in red. Yes, they are least responsible for it, because what the African cities are experiencing, are facing, they are not responsible for it. Especially that climate or air pollution is a global issue. Now, how does it manifest in cities? So how we can tell about this urbanization, how our cities might be very vulnerable toward the climate change. Look how they're gonna manifest that. This is Naples in Italy, India, and you may guess what city, what country is in the bottom right picture. This could be one of our African cities. But why we are here as a leader of Zekura is to tell you that there is a hidden flow of wealth, the ways that can make our city less resilient to climate change, environmental challenge is a wealth itself. It's a golden mine. We need just to be aware, educated, informed about sustainability issues, and we're gonna make it happen all together. And I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you have an idea how much a ton of plastic and a ton of organic waste may cost if you want to sell it? Do you have any idea how much? Actually, we are talking about a few hundred of euros, and the team will present that soon. Now, as I told you, we want to build resilience in cities. The university will serve as a role model to scale up the results to the neighboring city, Azrou and Ifran. We all know what's resilience. I'm not insulting your intelligence. Resilience means that cities will absorb, recover, and prepare for shocks. What kind of shocks we are talking about? Economic, environmental, and social. And the question that we may raise here are our house region in Morocco resilient after what we have all experienced in the last few weeks? I don't think that our house, the answer was that resilient, because we were not able to absorb the environmental shock. So Zekura toward resilience. So the whole project again is a transition toward resilient water, energy, food, and wastewater. This is what we call, guys, the nexus, the energy, food, waste nexus. This is what we would like to develop in our campus to scale it up to the neighboring cities. So I'm trying to go faster so we can give more time to our students to present their results. So let me summarize what we've been working on. This is a project funded by the Federal Ministry of Education and Research, led by IFAS at Khir University, and in collaboration with 4 or 5 universities in Africa. We try to always close the loop. So it's been like discussion, building capacity to develop this concept that may fit to our needs. And how it is implemented. It is implemented thanks to what we call traveling universities. So the hosting team, they have been in those 5 universities developing their concepts of zero emission. So the traveling university, the student that we are having here with us, will start with the university as incubator, and then the knowledge will be extrapolated to the city of Azrou. Actually, we visited the city of Azrou. We visited all the facilities, and we will share with you what we may recommend, not only to our university, but also to the city of Azrou and Ifran. My last slide would be about what can we do again with this study that will be presented. The outcomes will be unveiled with our students in a minute from now. We're going to be able again to apply for other European projects. We are already start thinking about Sekura too. That will be basically for the cities, for the cities. So this is what we would like to know, to move from the disaster that we may see on the right side to a sustainable cities on the left side. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Ratne, for this wonderful introduction, and a very comprehensive one into the Sakura project. And right now, without much further delay, I'm happy to invite Dr. Alejandro Sunayake, the Project Manager General of Sakura Project, the country coordinator, and an excellent mentor who guided us through this traveling university.
Thank you, Juliana. I'm told we don't have that much of time, so I'll try to be quick and very brief. If I'm not very brief, you can just let me know, just be brief. Okay, so I have to introduce you the concept of traveling university. This is the tool you just saw a moment ago in that last slide before last. That is the tool that we are using to mobilize and changing the systems. So what systems are we talking about? We are talking about complex systems. Before getting into the real introduction of traveling university, I have to tell you that we are very unconventional people. Very, very unconventional. We don't like conventional things. We always try to challenge the existing system so that we can learn from it. Exactly like this gentleman told some time ago, we don't do things because they're easy. We try to do things because they're hard. So we take good examples from around the world, and we have created, in fact, the gentleman that we mentioned a moment ago, Professor Dr. Peter Heck, this is his brainchild, who started this concept of teaching young folks some 20, 25 years ago. He created a seminar program in our master's program. This is a must that the students have to do something hands-on. It is just learning by doing. What we do is we assemble a team, an international group of students put together. We take them to a location completely alien to them. And then we expose them to the real world, and we ask them to analyze the complex system, come up with solutions. So when we assemble a team, you almost always have to get to know the client. That is fundamental. You have to get to know the client, you have to understand the system, and then of course, external stakeholders, and that is a challenge. So we always challenge the students to get to know them fast, get to know the system fast. And also, we try to encourage the students to manage the limited amount of resources. Number one is time. So they will have to be like that man, doing multiple things at the same time, and also not to fail. Learning by doing. And they almost always have to have a contingency plan, because Murphy is our friend, always. So you have to deal with Murphy. And we focus on results. You have to deliver good results because our clients are waiting. In this case, AUI. You are in a team we don't know much about because we had limited time to get to know them. And then we almost always have conflicts. But we have faith in each other. We trust each other, and we get to know them fast, and we try to work together to achieve a common objective. So this is also part of learning. Sometimes we have a plan, but the plan is not so good. So you have to improvise. Sometimes we believe others know better than us, but at the same time, like what you see in the picture, we think the others are driving, they have the helms, but no one has the helms. So we have to take control of things. This is what we try to teach in traveling university. We have to have a plan, and then we move forward, and we tell the students, you have to be curious, keep your eyes and ears open, and dig deep. Get your hands dirty. Look at the places where we usually don't look, and take a deep look. If it is required to put your head in the bin, garbage can, you have to do that. And you will learn about it pretty soon, what they did. So this is the model. It looks a bit complex, but in fact it is not. This is exactly what the traveling university looks like. We have an international team visiting. We put the local team and the international team together, and we divide them into 4 teams. The number one is organization communications, which my lovely colleague Sami and Juliana, they are the ones who are organizing things, including Professor Elasli. They organize everything, and we have Sebastian. They made us come over here. And then we have a team called Material Flow Assessment Team. They are responsible for understanding how material flow through a system, whether it is the city or the university. And then we have the technology team. They are responsible solely to come up with technologies that we change the system. And it doesn't matter whatever the fancy technology we propose, at the end of the day, it has to make economic sense. So finance team will look into how these projects that we propose are going to work in reality, whether the president can make a decision to implement a solar plant or have a fleet of electric cars. Does it make any economic sense? So these are the teams usually who investigate and prepare bankable projects. We will look into that later. The foundation, the fundamental basis of traveling university is based on science. There is nothing beyond science. We use standard methodologies to get this going, to understand how the systems work, and we prepare at the end of the day something called the Material Flow Management Master Plan. We have done this many times over around the world over the last 25 years. We have done roughly about 30 traveling universities, and we continue to do this. Why? Because we have a grand challenge for 2050. Net zero is something quite important. So I'm told that we are running a wee bit short on time, so I'm going to quickly skip. This idea is coming from Germany, our own campus. It is Germany's #1 zero emission campus, greenest university campus. We want to see the same model here. We are fully powered by renewable energy, whether it is electrical energy, heat supply, or cooling. It is all there. We have the state-of-the-art energy efficiency technologies, resource efficiency. I'm going to skip all this. You will hear more about this, and we are moving into hydrogen economy. The heart of the matter, or the core, is my Institute for Applied Material Flow Management. And this is an essential part of our master's program. We have partners all around the world, and the network is growing. I would like to see AUI back on the map, and this is an honorable partner, long-standing for the last 13 years. That is my objective at the end of the day. I would like to see you. Like Nelson Mandela said, education is the one who is going to bring about the change. However, we strongly believe if you want to change the world, you have to start off by making your own pen. So this is what we are going to do here today. Without further ado, I would like to invite our lovely team to take us through the results, the findings.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculties and fellow students, Assalamu alaikum and a warm welcome to this year's grand finale of the Traveling University in Al Akhawain University in Ifran, Morocco. Over the past 7 days, we've embarked on an incredible journey. All our efforts were put into crafting a net zero and resilient strategy. We've gone through highs and lows, evolving as a diverse team out of strangers into a group that is cohesive and an unstoppable team. I can assure you, we stand united. Every one of us played a pivotal role in achieving this net zero remarkable success. We're about to present our results to you today. First, starting with our mission. With the powerful tool of the traveling universities, Sikura aims for forging resilience pioneering cities. Those are the cities of the future. They shall not only endure, but triumph over the multifaceted challenges of sustainability for both current and future. Our mission, in line with this vision of resilience, is to transform ASRU into a shining example of sustainability and innovation. It shall be a beacon that not only weathers the storms of environmental, social, and political dynamics, but also triumphs over them. We want to ensure economic prosperity for the region. Thus, we decided AUI is the epicenter of sustainability and innovation. It shall share its gained knowledge with everyone around. Together, ASRU and AUI shall not only illuminate for Morocco, but be the trailblazing pioneers in sustainable resilience for the entirety of North Africa. Our journey began by assembling our research team. We had to do it from ground up. We have a visiting and a host team. We brought together 31 individuals from 10 different countries. Everyone has their unique strengths and capabilities. We had to synergize our collective potential. First, starting off with our visiting team, we had 16 individuals from 7 different countries, representing a global tapestry of perspectives. Guiding us along this transformative expeditions, we have our esteemed Sakura managers, Dr. Dasanayaki and Mr. Senami. For the host team, we were very fortunate to have Professor Elasli heading it along with 14 students. They come from 3 different countries and they offered us invaluable insights and support throughout this whole journey. But now, without further ado, I want to give the stage to Fatih, who will present you to the captivating contents that we have created. Together, let's embark on this inspirational voyage into the future of resilience and sustainability.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Sebastian, for the introduction. So for today's presentation, we're going to start by looking at the status quo and exploring all of the various material flows that goes into our university. What I mean by that is that we're looking at what resources do we use, how do we use them, and then what do we do with them afterwards. Then we're going to delve into the details of water, waste, and energy. We're going to look at both the current state of affairs, but also all of the solutions, propositions, and suggestions that we have been working on for the past 7 days and that we are here to share with you today. Finally, we'll conclude with the financial, but most importantly, environmental impacts of our suggestion. So for our study, we relied on some critical parameters, and these parameters are market rates for electricity, water, petrol, diesel. They were very helpful for our calculations. We also used some emission factors, and this is very important for us because our goal here today, what we're here to do, what we hope to achieve is 0 emissions. And the only way that we can achieve that is by measuring how much do we currently emit and by how much can we reduce it. There are 3 main material flows that goes into our university. We have our energy, our water, and then our biotic and abiotic factors. And all of these, they go, we have quantified them using the critical parameters that I've just shared with you. And all of these, they go into the various facilities that we have at our university. So whether you use the cafeteria, the dorms, or even this auditorium that you're in here today, every use has a cost, both in terms of resources, but it also creates byproducts, whether that be greenhouse gas emissions, wastewater, or waste. And it is these byproducts that I'd like to look at today because they have an environmental impact outside our university. I want to point that although this model is about the AUI, our goal here is not only to build resilient universities, but also resilient cities. We want, as Dr. Leslie mentioned, we want to apply what we're doing here today to the broader city of Azrou and hopefully Morocco. We want our university to be a model for change. I don't think I need to stress how important, how urgent we need the situation of our water resources is. I mean, you've seen the Lake of Ifran drying up, you've seen the Daitowa Lake getting smaller and smaller. There are people in our communities who no longer have access to running, drinking water. There are even more people who get their water supply shut off every night in Morocco. I stand here before you today as a member of the AUI student community, as a temporary resident of the Azrou region, but also as Moroccan citizens. And it is in this capacity that I'm telling you, it is not only a civic duty, but a personal responsibility for each and every one of us to make the most we can to get the best use of our resources. We need to preserve them for ourselves, but also for future generations. So for our university, we have two main water supplies. One of those is groundwater, and we get that from 3 wells, 2 of which serve for our swimming pool and then for our irrigation. And the third joins our national supply, and that is the main campus supply that we get in our restaurants and in our residences. As of now, most of the water is seeping away. For the water that we use on our campus, we pay for that to get treated at the treatment plant in Iran. But what I want to show you is that through all of these flows, there is so much of a resource that is lost, a resource that we do not have. And we want to limit these losses first by reducing our consumption as much as we can, but also by exploring all of the ways that we can reuse not only the wastewater, but all of the water that is being wasted in our system. Unfortunately, droughts and scarcity of water is not the only challenge facing our communities, although it is the most pressing one. Precipitation has become scarce, though it does come, it comes at such a high volume that it creates a lot of water-based natural disaster. I'm talking mainly about floods, and this region is highly susceptible to it. And I would like to invite Nina to share with us the suggestions and the solutions that the team has been working on to deal with this type of natural disaster.
So, as Fancy mentioned, there is a high risk of flooding in the Azure region. So as you can see from this pie chart, 62% of deaths for the past 50 years are caused due to flooding events here in the Azure region. And this issue is also emphasized by the president of the municipality in Azure, and they are doing serious measures in the future to prevent any flooding events in the Azure region. So this is also important for us to build a resilient infrastructure, and that is why we are here to propose ideas and techniques to implement and protect our community. So here are some of the examples of the infrastructure that are already done in the Azure region. So as you can see, this is a canalization, and basically what it does is to divert the flooding water away from the city. However, we believe that this technique is not 100% efficient, because basically what it does is to just pull the water from one place to another. And what we really need to establish is an infiltration system that would go underneath the ground and store the water. And that is why our team, we have proposed this method, which is called the Earth Smiles. And basically this concept is very easy to understand. It's basically just the creation of bunds on the soil, which are semicircles on the first picture. And basically what these bunds do is that they store the rainwater and it gets infiltrated underground. So using this method, we can store water, we can prevent the region from flooding, and at the same time, we could restore the ecosystem. Another thing that we also want to talk about is the rainwater harvesting here at the university. We all know that the amounts of rainfall have decreased for the past few years, and that is why we really want to take into advantage every drop of water that we get here in Ifran. And that is why we want to establish this rainwater collecting system on the roofs here at AUI and then store them. So concerning the storage, we have decided to store it underground. In this case, there is no compromising of the aesthetic. And here we have the capacity reservoir of 2,400 cubic meter. And we can use this reservoir in dry period here at Hawaiian University. So as one point, the university will be with the increased number of students and the increased droughts here in Morocco in general, we will rely on the national grid more and more. And if we compare the levelized cost of this method with the cost of the grid that we get for the university, it is much more lower. So we believe we highly emphasize on doing this method because in the long term, it's going to be really feasible and profitable. Another issue that we want to talk about in this presentation is about the irrigation system here at the university. And I am sure that all of you have seen how concerning it is due to the low monitoring here at the university. The water gets spread all over on campus, and that is why we really want to do something about it to save water and use water more efficiently. And that is why we came up with the smart irrigation system to be able to save up much more water. And to get into more details about that, I'm going to invite Leia to give you a general explanation of this system. Thank you.
Well, hello everyone. Well, as my friend mentioned, our irrigation system at Al Akhawain has proven to be inefficient. And we have came with this solution to lower our demand for water and save and of course irrigate our campus efficiently. So basically, this system works through a moisture sensor that calculates the humidity and moisture in the soil. And then it sends the data to a reader through like a data transfer, and then the digital reader reads the information and decides whether to cut the irrigation, the flow for irrigation, or to give more irrigation into the system if if the plant needs more watering. And for our irrigation system, our research team has found that we can save up to 30% of water, which is a big amount. However, we took 20% as a conservative value. And because we have a lower price of water in Morocco, we have a static payback of 8 years. So we did not only think about our beautiful campus, but we also thought about the excessive consumption that we have within our residential areas and academic areas. And I'm talking here about the sanitary system. Our sanitary system needs some improvement. Well, basically, it was proposed in the TU of 2016 to build efficient sanitary systems. And unfortunately, we did not reach to 100% of implementation. However, we're proposing this again, aiming for a better solution right now. So with these efficient sanitary systems, we can save at least 50% of the water that we consume yearly. And now that we talked about how we can use the water efficiently, we'll move on to another thing. Well, basically, I'm talking about feces and urinals. It might be disgusting, of course, to like picture everything, but it's fine. I mean, we're here for the benefits of it. Well, basically, we're proposing how to re-inject our wastewater into our system. So for example, black water, it can be used for biogas through the anaerobic digestion. For the yellow water, it can be used in the fertilizers industry, as many German industries use, and through urine recycling. And then we have water for irrigation and flushing that can come from the reed bed filter system. And we developed more about the reed bed filter system because it's a nature-based solution that we found that we can implement in our campus, as it is aesthetically pleasing, because we do not want to implement something in our campus that would ruin our, visual appealing buildings. So basically, we inject our water in this system where we plant common reed, and then the common reed remove the toxins and contaminants from water, and then you dump it through the system as a treated water. So we basically have a treated water and a clean, not fully 100% clean, but it is a clean water that we can use for irrigation and for flushing system in AUI. And here we can reduce our demand for water. And we found out also with our research team that we can save up to 13 tons of CO2 emissions yearly, according to this system that we're proposing. And many might think that it might be smelly. However, it is used in many African countries, and it has proven to be odorless. So, and also for the reed that we're planting, we can use it for other uses. We can sell it as a bioproduct for baskets, etc. And we also can use it for biomass. So it's an all win-win situation in here. So we've seen this diagram before, but it is different now. Can you spot the difference? Someone, please? No, not for you guys. Someone from, I don't know. Well, it's fine. I'll explain. So basically, our system before, it was, it had some flaws. But now with these strategies that we're proposing, it is kind of flawless. It is better than before. So with the systems that we're proposing, we can re-inject the water that we're wasting into our system again, and we can benefit from the water that comes from the wells and from the harvesting and everything. So basically, we know that in the following years, the wells that we're counting on might be dry. So we have to count on these other things because the numbers of students are increasing yearly, and we need other sources for water, and we cannot rely on the grid water because we will be financially having some financially concerns. And with this strategy that we're proposing, we will have removed our environmental and financial concerns at once. So basically, this was for our water proposals, and it is not only our concern, we have other wastes to consider, such as solid waste. And now I will leave the floor to Mehdi to explain further this matter. Thank you.
So after talking about waste, let's now focus on another big problem here at our campus, which is my bad, which is waste. Here's what you need to know: the status quo of solid waste on campus. Our campus generates solid waste from three main resources. From three main sources, we have the forest and green areas that produce greenery and forest residues that goes directly to the AUI eco village or donations. We have the restaurant that produces food waste that goes directly to the food waste space. Thirdly, we have the facilities like the residential and the academic area that produces other waste like plastic, paper, and glass that goes directly to the waste collection bins and to be transported to the dumping sites. At AUI, 40% of our waste is organic, followed by paper and plastic with a value of 22% each. And we can produce a total amount of 440 tons of solid waste a year. Of course, these are estimations, but they are based on the research team's findings. After visiting the dumping sites at Azro, we have seen that a lot of leachate is being formed. This liquid can contaminate the landscape and affects the biosphere. And we must all admit that it is caused by us, and we should act about it. Now, what can we do? First, we need to raise awareness through campus-wide campaigns. It is not just about saving the environment, but it is also about saving money and creating a sustainable culture on campus. This leads us to our first project, which is the solid waste segregation and sorting. Do you know that the university pays money to contractors to collect our waste? We have done the calculations, and if we sell our waste, there is money to be made. The potential amount to be generated from selling our solid waste is more than $500,000 a year. This is an invitation to the management body of our university to think about the possibility of building a sorting facility here on campus. Since there is an emerging market of waste collection and segregation in Morocco, and the majority of segregation and the majority of the companies that do these tasks are located far away from IFMA. Did you know that we use almost 11,000 disposable plastic cutlery every day on campus, costing us more than 600,000 dirhams a year? That's not just about the financial part, it's also harmful for our environment. But we do have two options. The first option is the stainless steel cutlery. It is tough, reusable, and saves money in the long run, especially if we are able to manage our water and energy to clean these utensils. The second option is the biodegradable cutlery. It is eco-friendly and fits within the sustainability goals of our university. It might seem pricier now, but it is worth it. We have also seen that there is a huge bottle of water used on campus. We suggest investing in PET plastic valorization by adding one more step to the process, which is buying a sorting and crushing machine. As you can see, we can almost double the earning we can generate from selling our sorted plastic. We have also another technology suggested by our research team that can boost our revenue and make our campus green. This is also a route for collaboration with our students through the startup incubator office at our university to come up with realistic business plans and ideas related to the food waste management. And now I'm going to give the floor to my colleague Abdani to talk about the biogas.
So the plastic waste is now recycled, but we are still stuck with the remaining organic waste. So how can we make use of it? The right biogas from organic waste is a sustainable and environmentally friendly approach to both waste management and renewable energy generation. With a 40% share of organic waste, particularly originated from restaurants. Subsequently, through the process of anaerobic digestion, biogas rich in methane is generated by breaking down the organic matter. This gas is then utilized to produce electricity and heat via combined heat power system, which are then consumed by the facilities within the campus. Given the estimated values, we conducted a comprehensive analysis of biogas production from food waste to generate electricity and heat. Our focus was on monitoring the quantity of food waste utilized in the overall electricity and heat production process. Through the analysis of data gathered during the pilot implementation of this biogas plant using food waste, we were able to quantify our energy saving contributions in terms of electricity and heat production. Furthermore, these insights enabled us to estimate the payback period for this sustainable initiative. Even though it only added a small amount to the system's energy flow, its implementation remained economically viable with a substantial return on investment. This table illustrates both the financial and environmental assessments. When we examine the levelized cost of electricity, it becomes evident that it is lower than that of the grid. And turning our attention to the cost of heat, our analytics demonstrate its profitability, particularly when compared to the more expensive heat generated from diesel. And by implementing such technology, we can help to promote sustainability processes within the campus and motivate the stakeholders to implement likewise technologies. Looking to this picture, First, on the left is a picture of the actual dumping site located in Azraq city. This unstructured landfill causes many problems, such as killing the flora and fauna of the surrounding area.
Thank you very much. We are not done with your presentation yet. However, we would like to give a word to one of our esteemed guests, one of the main guests here, to dear President of the Al Hawaii University, and we are happy to grant you the word.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Very happy to be with you today, and I have to start by apologizing to Abdelalim. What do you mean? Yes, I am apologizing. No, sorry about this programmatic thing. They've been trying to take care of it. But I'd like to start by really welcoming you. It's wonderful to be here with you on this project, and to welcome also the president of the local authorities in the elected body, Mr. Abdeslam Al-Harar. And as I understand it, we not only have a wonderful project, but we have a richness of a multinational, multicultural team. So I have written a few countries that I have been able to catch, but you'll correct me if I've missed any of them. So welcome to all our friends from the Ivory Coast, from Ghana, from Uganda, Tanzania, Mexico, India, Russia, Sri Lanka, Peru, and of course, Germany, and Morocco, and half China. Have I missed any country?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. Oh, it's actually Saudi Arabia and Mali. Yes. So welcome. It's really wonderful to see such a rich team and to see such a wonderful project. Now, Trier University, I understand we've been doing things together for 13 years in a wonderful, I think, win-win-win, north-south-south kind of a formula. And I have heard from trying to remember your name, Luliana. Yeah. So we heard from Luliana that they were happy with the welcome they have received here, and I have to say that I have visited Germany. My first time I visited Germany, I was 16, I believe. And it was on, I don't know if the formula still exists, lenteja. This is a formula where when you're young, I don't know if it still exists, but it does. So when you're below a certain age, I forgot what the age was. I think it was 18 or 21 or something, 26. You could buy for next to nothing a train ticket where you could go around Europe for very, very, very little. And so a friend of mine and I went on this Interrail, and I think I had, in addition to the ticket, I think I had about 500 dirhams for a month. I hope this does not reveal too much how old I am, but it was still not much money. So we were trying to be very sustainable during the entire trip. And of course, we had to choose the trains where we didn't have to pay extra, right? There is this, and so we get to Germany, and there was this train to Cologne. Is that how you say it? the one city in Germany is called Cologne. Köln. And so there is this thing. It was a train at 9:01, I believe, p.m. And so we got on the train, and then like 15 minutes later, there is this controller that comes and says your ticket, and so we give them our ticket, and then he says, okay, you need to pay a supplement of 6 marks. And we're like, no, we're sure it's not. There's no supplements, because we were very picky to make sure we don't pay anything, because we didn't have much money. No, he says it's you have to pay. We said no. Here it says 9:01. You don't pay. There's no supplement. He says no, but you got on the 8:59 train, not on the 9:01 train. And so coming from Morocco, a Mediterranean country, 2 minutes is not really. So this morning I came at 9 a.m. Not 1 minute later. To make sure that you guys did not leave back to Germany. I have heard a number of things, and I've taken lots of notes, and I cannot share all of them, but I have heard that you do things that are hard. You don't do only the easy things. That you deliver results. That you've been looking at absorbing shocks, economic, environmental, and social. And then what I'd like to tell you is that we are very committed. What you're doing is music to our ear. We are somewhat learning university in this respect. I understand Trier University has been doing some wonderful things, and that we'll be very happy to continue being a living lab, both on campus. So I have not seen the numbers yet. I don't know how much this costs, but we'll get there. But both on campus and with our host city, which is Ifran, and then Azro, because Azro is larger. I have heard quite a bit about Azro. We have not heard Ifran, but I understand from Dr. Leslie that the reason is Ifran is easy, was too easy for you, and you do hard things. So you had to go. You had to go to Azro. But Ifran and then Azro can clearly be a way to showcase things, and maybe we can also help. I understand that you have some interest in Casablanca. I think we could help and do things there. Now, if you allow me, there is something that I really would like to seize the opportunity to catch your attention on, and which is that I also heard that the moving university, you're calling the traveling university, that you do all of these things that are wonderful, but about some of the hard things that we do also. I wanted to maybe make a relationship to your project here. They have to do with, I mean, you are in search of impact, really, ultimately. You're in search of having a positive impact. And as a university, we ask ourselves about what impact we want to have. Because we are also in search of impact. And as it turns out, we are in the quote unquote business of training students. And what we have found out was that there was a serious issue, study after study after study after study, that show something is happening with respect to this generation's well-being. And as a result, we have decided to focus on student success because there are many things changing in the world that put student success at risk, but also on student well-being, which is trickier. And I will not go into all of this, but I will only tell you that the core of our strategy for student success is experiential learning. We have pioneered a number of things in Morocco on experiential learning. Hopefully, some of the colleagues will tell you about them. And the other thing I heard is that the friendship that you also work on friendship. We are doing three things. Our well-being is centered around three things, and one of them is well-being. The second is purposefulness, and the last one is cultural anchoring. The reason I'm saying this is because one of the things that we read in some of these studies is that this generation's caring about sustainability sometimes puts pressure. In addition to your wanting to have an impact, climate change is so challenging that this generation feels a heavy weight in addition to its wanting to make a difference. And so what I wanted to say in a couple of seconds is just to say that at AUI, we like to be partners on this, and we'd like to make sure and do it in a way so that together with our new generation students, we are making progress. But how do we make progress while giving them the opportunity to make a difference, but without suffering from the drawback of thinking there are these problems in the world and they're just too big, and what do we do about this? And we're hoping to learn, really to learn together as we're doing this, because lots of things, even in the currently in the learning of the new generation, are very different from the way that we have learned. And I believe your initiative with the traveling university is just a wonderful way to do some of this. So welcome, thank you very much. We're with you. We will put in money. I don't know how much money. So we'll make fun of this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amin bin Said. It was an honor for us and a great pleasure to hear your remarks and your comments and your warm welcome. And right now we can continue with our presentations of the Laim. You are again very warmly welcome on the stage. You never know how things will turn out, but we keep going regardless.
So just going back to our slide, where we have on the left is a picture of the actual debris site in the Azra city. This unstructured landfill causes many problems, such as killing the flora and fauna of the surrounding area. On the other hand, we have a developed landfill in Germany where a biogas is put in place. And to facilitate the implementation of such technology, a social unit should accompany this biogas plan. By studying the estimated amount of organic waste in the considered landfill and the biogas it produced, along with its electricity and heat production, led us to the conclusion that integrating this production into the existing grid makes economical and environmental sense. And just to sum up, by sorting is playing a crucial role in facilitating sustainable management. So when people, especially students, engage in efficient sorting of waste materials, it lays the foundation of implementing advanced technologies and sustainable processes. One notable example is the replacement of plastic cutlery with biodegradable alternatives. And in this scenario, the compost derived from in a liquid setting can be utilized to enrich soil quality and support sustainable agriculture practices. And by implementing all the conservation technologies and strategies, these might represent significant decrease of greenhouse gas emissions, and by this, or therefore, sorting and sustainable waste management practices are critical in creating a greener and more economical, viable future. So now I would like to call my friend Alice so she can give a deep insight for the energy flow to the AUI.
Thank you, Dr. Ali, and good morning, everybody. Let's dive into the topic of the energy. So we all know that energy is the backbone of every country, and not only that, also of us. Without energy, we wouldn't be able to breathe, speak, walk, and we couldn't stand here today. And most importantly, we couldn't have spent this amazing last week with our dear colleagues from the Moroccan University. So let's see. The energy management is quite important. We know that the demand in energy is rising every single year, and also here at the campus. By 2025, you want to accommodate over 5,000 students, and I'm quite sure that they also want to have a hot shower once or twice. But due to COVID and other political issues all around the world, we've all experienced an increase of the energy prices the last couple of years. So if we right now invest in new technologies and renewable energies, we can actually improve the efficiency, cut costs, and create jobs in the future. By using them, solar, wind, or even green hydroelectrical power, we not only cut the cost, but we can also further the sustainability. We cut greenhouse gases, and not only that, we could also reach net zero hopefully one day. Further than that, we also improve the resilience of the campus here, of the city, or even of Morocco. By not being dependent on different energies which come from different countries, if we can create it here on our own, we would withstand disruptions like natural disasters, supply chain shortages, or market price fluctuations all around the world. So let's take a look at the status quo here at the university. On the left side, you see that we get the electricity from the grid, and of course, we pay for it. And we also get the diesel for the vehicles that we use in campus and for the heating of the buildings. After the TU in 2016, you already made a huge step by implementing the biomass boilers. And by using the waste cooking oil here on campus and also the olive pits, you acknowledged that what others may see as a waste is actually a valuable resource. So let's take a look at what we can do to improve this even further. Like I mentioned, we wanted to take a look at what we can actually have here in this system of the university. And at our campus tour with Mr. Jadid, we saw that you also burn the residual woods. and we thought about optimizing it a bit. So the next step, instead of using the big bulky woods, is to make them into the pellets. And we were taking a look at the net calorific value, and we could actually see that if you use these wood pellets of oak and cedar from here, they are quite good compared to the olive pits that you already use. And next to that, we also heard that you had a lot of droughts in the last couple of years, and you couldn't get as much as before. So using this wood would be a good step to have another source and not being dependent of the pits on the farmers around the globe. So let's take a look at the processing. It's not that technical or hard. You actually only have to cut them, or it's already on the ground. You cut them into tinier pieces, you heat them up so they will dry, and then you can put them into the wood pellet machine. And you can see here, or not, but on the right side, you see that you will get these small the pellets, which are quite easy to handle and to store because they are so small. Afterwards, you can use in the biomass boiler, which already exists here, of course, and use that for the hot water. Let's take a look at the financial side. So since the area isn't as big here as of now, you only get around 7 tons of the wood residues per year. We calculated that this isn't actually a big contribution to the university, but we know that you already donate the wood residues, and this would help the people in need in the city of Ifran or Azru. But also for future projects, you can think about buying more land, invest in sustainable forest management, so you could actually generate more of this wood residues to have another income and another source that you can use. And in the same time, if we combine this with the herb smiles, for example, in the city of Asru and the region, we could in the same time have an power station of the region and have potential, of course, GHG savings. All right, and with this, I will give the floor to my dear colleague, Lawrence. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Alice. And we're staying in the topic of heating because we are talking about biodiesel, which is not just a concept. We're using it here on campus. We're using the waste cooking oil. We're adding some methanol and potassium hydroxide. And in the end, we get diesel or biodiesel, which we can use for power creation or heating. Here we have seen the diesel production here on campus. It was shown to us by Professor Al-Asli. He's been working on it for some years, and with around 8,000 liters of waste cooking oil, we can produce here around 7,000 liters of biodiesel. This equates to an energy value for heating of around 70,000 kilowatt hours. And then we thought to ourselves, why should we not upsize this operation for the city of Asru or maybe for the city of Ifran? And when we made the calculations, we've made some assumptions. We couldn't really get the exact data on how much waste oil is produced. So we took the number of restaurants and calculated the value, and we were able to get the levelized cost for heating down to 0.12 Moroccan dirham per kilowatt hour. If we compare that to the price for heating of liquid petroleum gas, which is around 0.25 Moroccan dirham per kilowatt hour, we can see it's less than half of the price. So here we would like to make the suggestion for the university and the cities to collaborate with each other to maybe build a business plan around this endeavor, around this technology, because it seems quite profitable. Then when we continued our campus tour, we went to the laundromats and we realized, okay, these laundromats, the buildings are quite warm because the machines produce a lot of exhaust heat. Especially the dryers, they
Well, right now the heat is just exhausted into the room, and we thought we could reuse it in, for example, to preheat water or to preheat the air for the dryers, which is what we're showing here. So they effectively need to use less energy to heat up the air because they're using their own exhaust air. We made the calculations for one laundry building, building 36, with 9 dryers, and we got to monetary savings of around 60,000 Moroccan dirham per year, and the payback period for the initial investment would be less than 7 years. Now, for preheating the water for the laundry machines or for the domestic use, we got another idea. We are thinking about combining renewable energies and energy efficient heat pumps. This is what it could look like for a building of around 100 students. They consume around 4 to 6 cubic meters of hot water per day. And with the help of the solar thermal unit and the heat pump, we could provide this hot water. We need the heat pump mainly in the winter because in the summer months, the solar thermal can be enough, but in the winter, it's not as effective. So we need the heat pump to support it, basically. And when we've done the calculations, we arrived on the conclusion that we could save up to 200,000 Moroccan dirham per year, and we would pay back the initial investment for the solar thermal unit and the heat pump in less than 3 years. Thank you very much. So now I would like to ask Alice on the stage to tell us more where we can produce this. Inas. I'm very sorry. To tell us more about where we can produce this electricity.
So thank you, Lawrence, for looking at my name. Here from the picture, you can see there are PV panels on the roof. And actually, this idea is not new. It was already suggested by the Traveling University in 2016. And because of the aesthetics of the building, this idea was unfortunately rejected. So today, we are bringing this idea back to show you how profitable this idea is. So here we chose building 15, which is the library. And we chose it because it has different structural roof. So we implemented some simulations on it. We took into consideration the shading, the space between the panels, and the inclination of the roof. And here, as you can see, we got a high annual yield, which is higher than the one in Germany. And here you can see that the levelized cost of electricity is also lower than the one that we pay from the grid, which proves that this idea is indeed profitable. So first, this idea was just a sample that was implemented on the whole campus, and we could actually use only 49% from the roof area, again, because of the shading, and we could actually cover the whole need during the day, and we got even a surplus of 36%. Now you might notice that the payback period is high, and that's because we cannot feed in it to the grid yet, maybe in the future. So here you can see that the levelized cost of electricity is also lower than the one that we pay from the grid, which proves also that this project is indeed profitable. So to the decision makers, or the ones that can raise this idea even more, in case you still think that we cannot implement it on the roofs, we can maybe do it on some hidden buildings, for example, or do it on that. And AUI has already invested in biomass, which is great. It's a great step towards sustainability. However, with the increase, like we are expanding in campus, we need more renewable sources. So it would be great to invest in PVs as well. And we believe that sustainability, we have to live it and not only learn it. So other ways to use the PV surplus is through electric vehicles. We have a couple of vans here in campus that run back and forth from campus to city campus every day, every 10 minutes. So it will be profitable if we can replace them by electric vans. So because they consume less energy and they require less operating cost. And of course, these electricity come from the PV instead of the grid. Otherwise, it's not going to be sustainable. So here, as you can see, my point is proven here through the numbers. We could actually save thousands of diesel liters, and we could save many tons of energy. Here, in case we do not want to invest in EVs, there's the second option, which is the hydrogen. We can produce it. It's a running idea that's currently thought about in some campuses in Germany, and we can do it here. Why not? So this is other suggestions that we can implement or do further research about it. We already have an IT department here in AUI. We have computer science students. They could do more research about IoT, for example. It can reduce the energy, for example, by using the temperature sensor and thermostats. There's also another idea, the technology over here, the piezoelectrics. We can implement them on crowded areas like the academic areas. It gets pretty crowded during class time, or we can implement them from the back between the cafeteria and the shop. So here, as you can see, we try to use as much renewable sources as we could. We use biomass, biofuel, photovoltaic, and solar panels. And we got as waste, we got the ash that we could use as cement from the pilot. So here, I will give you like a zoom out with Matt over here, who will give you like further insights on the investments and the environmental savings of the whole project.
Thank you very much, Ines, for your presentation. Like you mentioned, I'd now like to take a step back and bring all these different types of waste streams together: waste, water, and energy. Here on our proposed system, we'd like to present you how these three waste streams can actually work together and support each other. Let's start with water. Yes. Here we have the water. I would just like to highlight some of the aspects we mentioned today. We could increase the supply of water by rainwater harvesting, thereby increasing the source, which later on can be treated with our reed bed filter system. This can lead back to our water supply, and we can close the first cycle. Another aspect would be wastewater. Wastewater can be valorized with the help of the biogas production. So we can move all the way from water to the energy consumption and generate electricity from wastewater. But not only that, we would be able to use our organic waste with the help of co-digestion to also produce biogas from the source. Another important aspect is the inorganic waste. This waste can be valorized by the measures that we propose: plastic valorization and other types of valorization methods. When we move to the energy consumption, we see that with biogas, PV, biomass production, and the already established biomass production from olive pits, we can increase the amount of renewable energies for the university. And including electricity efficient measures, we are convinced that we will be able to generate a surplus that can be used to fuel our electric vehicles and also create a fundament for establishing green hydrogen on campus. These proposed measures increase the resource diversification of the campus. And this is the fundament of resilience and the ultimate goal of Secura. I'd now like to give you an idea on how we can upscale this approach to the city of Asrum. When we drive down the road from Asrum, we first come to the wastewater treatment plant. The incoming wastewater can be implemented in the biogas plant. But not only that, we can also use the separated organic waste and also use it as input material for our biogas production. Additionally to that, we can install PV panels, and in combination with the biogas production and the PV panels, we are convinced that the excess energy can be used to pump up the water, the treated water, back to the city of Oslo, thereby closing the water cycle and increasing the material efficiency of waste, water, and energy. When we further drive down the road to the landfill site, we can eliminate the landfilling of organic waste. And this currently causes a strong environmental burden. By releasing organic waste onto the landfill site, we actually create methane emissions that are currently leaching into the solid grounds and into the biosphere. This plan could eradicate the exposure of these emissions, and we can valorize it into renewable energies. Now I'd like to talk about the financial and environmental benefits. We estimated for each of the proposed measures investment costs, the annual savings, as well as the greenhouse gas emission potentials throughout the whole week. And this comes down to these values. The total investment is 40 million dirhams, and that is quite a lot of money. But we can generate annual savings of around 7 million dirhams a year. And this brings us to a payback period of a little bit more than 6 years. But not only that, another very important aspect is this number. 4,100 tons of CO2 equivalents can be saved each year. When we talk about sustainability, it's not only about economic feasibility and the counting of greenhouse gas emissions. It's about this graph, this visualization. The Sustainable Development Goals that we all agreed upon give us a clear path on how we can achieve a sustainable future. I'm very proud to say that our proposed measures are able to contribute to 12 of the total 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I'd like to highlight 3 goals that are most relevant to us and to the Kura. First of all, goal number 11, sustainable goals, sustainable cities and communities. By implementing a zero emission concept for cities, we will increase the resilience of cities and communities throughout. Another important aspect is goal number 4, education for sustainability. With the help of the funding by the federal government of research and education in Germany, we were able to establish the Project Traveling University to plant a seed into the minds of young people to be able to create their own sustainable future. And I'm very happy to hear about the president's opinion to care about the well-being of the students here at AUI. And I'd like to stress out that this goal can empower them and give them the tools and the abilities to change their own future and not be afraid of what will come. One very important aspect is goal number 17, partnerships to achieve these goals. By fostering partnerships with the Traveling University from the north to the south, by sharing knowledge, by learning from each other, and especially learn the regional challenges regarding sustainability, we can foster and increase and strengthen the way how we will create a sustainable change for all of us. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude for the hospitality and the welcoming of the Moroccan people, and especially here in Asru and at AUI. And also thank you for showing us how many important steps regarding the environment and sustainability and the greener future you have already taken. With that being said, I'd like to invite my dear friend Sami on stage, who was an incredible help for us and made us welcome from day one. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, distinguished participants, I would like to welcome you to the closing ceremony of the Zikra conference. And it's been an honor to be with you during this week. We learned a lot from each other. It's been a very enriching experience. And the results that the students have showcased during that week shows the potential of AUI as a hub for a university and the city of Azro and Ifran as well to combat climate change that is happening currently in different parts of the world. Now moving on to with the agenda, I would like to open the floor for the students and if they have any questions regarding or comments, and also the ones who are joining us online, raise their hands or address the question directly to the person if they don't. The floor is yours. Any question? Everything is clear?
Thank you so much. It's also an opportunity to say welcome to the School of Science and Engineering. It's wonderful to see you here, to be part of this audience. It's really a wonderful initiative, and it's just tackling what we are leading through, liberal art, that kind of education framed by a lot of concepts, problem solving, interdisciplinarity, and all of that. But okay, so let's go to my question. I love the way you try to reintegrate the energy to see things differently. But there are other aspects. Energy is good. Consumption could be even better. Monitoring that would be also important. I haven't seen that much of controlling, monitoring the consumption. How are you tackling this for all different aspects?
Very much. Would anyone want to take up the answer or rather the question and answer, or shall I proceed? Okay. So fundamental of resource management is of course looking at consumption. It is so fundamental. Generally, we don't talk about it any longer because it is the second nature. We start with resource efficiency, we briefly mentioned. However, we touched upon some elements, for example, monitoring, for example, we spoke about IoT devices, measuring water systems, so on and so forth. So that is where we start. We did not specifically show you the numbers, but in the available, there is a report coming up, which will elaborate all these details. Just considering the time, and also in highlights, we keep that. So it is there for you to go through eventually. All right, cheers. Any other questions from the audience? Yes.
I'd like to recite the opportunity to thank the team and also the people that they achieved. I have just one question. You come up with a helicopter review of the different technologies that might be integrated to connect with the military evolution. I would like to just see, we would like to address like priority order of the products, because sometimes the technologies will not be best to start with the whole project. So we would like to set up the priorities so that they can have like a tendency to start with one project, then the next one, then the next.
Thank you very much for that submission. Like I mentioned, we always look for the law. It is easy for management to take this job on and to do it. When you receive the report, which is given, encouraging you all to visit that report because it is going to be available for free, thanks to the generosity of the German taxpayer. By the way, I encourage you all to visit the website So far, we have completed 4 in the African continent, 4 traveling indices. All the reports and all the findings are available. And this is going to be on the website too. In the report, like you said, there will be an order of things where you need different things really fast. Low payback period, quick investment, for example, efficient improvement as well. So thank you very much for that suggestion. Any other remarks, questions? Yeah, there is one at the back. Cheers. I'm going to give it to a sprinter. I'm all towards the right.
So we did that using reception customers and putting more on the solution, right? But the things we really consider as long-term solution thinking. I mean, the root of the problem is not solved, which is the creating the fact we're overcoming. I know that we're integrating the large areas with deep goals that we're just steps that we're taking right now, when they achieve their design goal and things that we have to achieve. What's happening? I don't know what you do.
Young lady, I have to ask you to repeat the question. Probably you were too fast. Maybe I'm too long. Could you repeat the question once again? A little slow.
Okay, so you said that we like to waste after or the text of the right for whatever is happening. But it's not really the case. I mean, the root of the problem is not solving it, which is happening is when these goals that we're taking forward, these steps that we're taking right now are reached and effective, but I just really want to know but can you really keep up with all the active exchange of word nodes, especially the big countries like us? What's what happens? We'll have to come up with other solution. And is that the data anymore?
Yeah, excellent question. So the answer is circular economy. I'm not really sure whether you are familiar. Is she in one of your classes? No. Oh, okay. So circular economy is one of the fundamental things that we use. It is what you observe in nature. In nature, there is no waste. Nature evolved faster than we think, but there is no waste. Why? Because most of the waste become nutrients to some other system. This is what we try to do. It is that we are a little too slow in understanding. We don't evolve that fast, that is the issue. If we realize where the waste is, if we know where it could be used, then there is no problem. I don't know if you have come across this idea. It is called the red queen hypothesis. Have you read the Allison model? There is a red queen. So if you are to stay at the same place, you have to keep running because the systems evolve fast. This is fundamental theory used in biology. That is what we are missing. We don't fully realize how systems work. However, there are plenty of solutions. Red queen hypothesis is what I can personally do right now. Does that answer your question? Brilliant. Any other questions?
You, we are happy to be on you and thank you a lot for this program definition. And my question is how to realize all this area together and how to realize this in any way together.
Fantastic. Thank you for the question. He's a practical person. We have a fantastic idea of how we're going to get it implemented. Number one is to understand the size of the problem, which is basically clarifying. Now, I feel like I'm the only person talking, and it's not nice. I have to go together, but I'll be very good. So, first you have to understand what you are dealing with. That is the fundamental idea of material flow analysis. Where the resources are. How to realize it? You have to work in partnership. You cannot work in isolation. So I strongly encourage. You have fantastic, brilliant minds here. You have fantastic young folks. They are going to be out there in the market. They know how the system works. Invite them to come to your place. work with them. They know how the systems work. And now, one other question you might have in your mind, I thought your mind is how do you finance? You stop. There is the money. You invest now. Payback is pretty fast in certain areas. Some are good to invest in, but payback is a little slower, but you will have more benefits compared to economics, environment, social, so on and so forth. As administrators, one of the primary challenges you have is creating jobs. All these initiatives that we highlighted, they are creating enormous amount of jobs. Only thing is that you have to stay with that. So you have to work in partnerships. There's plenty of money out there in the project. Last week talk, he also hinted a little bit. Through this partnership, we could tap into various other avenues to get funded for most of the projects. It is available in the European Union. There's something called Green Deals, Horizon, there's the continuation of the Horizon project. So money is not an object. All you have to have is a good business idea. I'm reiterating, I always tell this to our students, sustainability is not a fancy thing, it's all about business. There's a lot of money there. All you have to understand is how the systems work and talk to people, get connected, and mobilize this. Now that I don't point. Okay.
Is there any other question?
It seems not. Yeah. All right, cheers, thank you very much.
Thank you all for your insightful question. Before we proceed with the program, I would like to thank the students for their hard work and dedication. And I need to say that your passion has inspired us all. Also, I would like to say that our managers here have been the backbone of the project with their critiques and comments, and always trying to pull us up in order to be able to present the results that we have today. So without further delays, I would like to invite Dr. Ranatha on stage, and I have the distinct pleasure to also invite the Dean of School of Science and Engineering for an award of appreciation. So please join us.
We're giving you this lovely precision. Thank you for having me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Also, I would like to invite Professor Leslie to join us on stage.
Brilliant.
That's it. All right. This is for your great hospitality and yes, anytime.
Thank you all for being part of this incredible journey, and we look forward for future collaboration to reach sustainable energy development plans in Morocco and so thank you for joining this conference, and have a safe travel and see you soon. Thank you.
If not,